Hey friends, welcome to a new video. We are going to talk about some new inks that came in and a new pen. And yes, this is a little bit of a strange location to film, maybe huddled in front of this door, but we are actually in the process of moving and things are crazy, and this was the nicest background that I could find. But either way, within this chaos, it was really nice to sit down and swatch some inks and show you a pen. And so, I hope that this video is going to be just as grounding for you as it was for me. And so let's take a look what came in. I just got in 3 new inks by the Wet Pen, and not only was I excited to support a small business, a small ink maker, but all of his inks are inspired by the Pacific Northwest and the Seattle area, or things around there. And I used to live in Seattle. It was the first place my husband and I lived together, so I have a lot of fond memories of that place. And so yeah, that just kind of worked out. And so I already opened these, and I think I made a mistake. Yeah, I think I accidentally not only cut the label, but also the little flap that attaches here. So I was a little too excited to get into these bottles. So that's my bad, which is partially why I did that off camera, because you do not want to see me handle a knife excitedly. So this first one, what am I starting with? Gasworks Park, and this is the smaller bottle that he offers. And let's get to swatching already. I'm seeing a deep green, and I do think that at least 2 of these also do exciting things depending on what paper you swatch them on, which I love that when inks do that. So let's see here, and I'm swatching in my Midori paper, Midori one day one page journal. Yes, it does have Midori paper, because I just wanted to journal about the fact that I got it on this day. And so far it's a really dark green. And I asked my husband if we ever went to the Gasworks Park, and he said we did, and I have no recollection of that, so I'm not quite sure. My memory might be failing me, but he, the Wet Pen, he has a YouTube channel, and he did a fantastic video about the inspiration behind these inks. And then is it work or works? What do we put down? Works. Yeah, it's a wonderful video. I have it linked below if you want to listen to that. Highly recommend it. It's really beautifully put together. Yeah, and I think this is a wonderful dark green. Seems to flow really well. And we're just, I don't know, just doing some grass, I guess, and some flowers. Yeah, that seems really nice on the nib so far. Oh yes, I see where it's drying. It has a little bit of a rusty rim here, which would make sense for the inspiration that this is coming from. Beautiful. We'll let that develop. And let me also close the bottle. Really cute with custom bottle cap and these beautiful labels. Really nicely designed, I think. And then the next one I picked out is the Giant Pacific Octopus. And I think this is a reddish brown, if I remember correctly. Oh, that is a tight. Hold on. Okay, I got it. Let's see what we can see. Yes, I can already see the reddish brown. Ooh, very rich. Like in a good way, I think. Have you ordered from small ink makers before? I must say this is the first time, hopefully not the last. As a small business owner myself, I obviously love supporting other small businesses. And then it's Giant, right? Yep, Giant. Oh wow, this is so well lubricated. I can't imagine how much time it takes to develop the colors and mass produce them on your own. Well, not mass produce them, but you know what I mean. And what do? We do like a little octopus. Have I ever drawn an octopus? We can sort of get the bare minimum octopusy shape there. Maybe. That is a beautiful brown. Yeah, I love it. There's quite some yellow coming through, yellow brown. Yeah, beautiful. And this is how the Gasworks Park is doing. Yes, 2 out of 2 for sure. And then because these kinds of colors, I often buy these kinds of colors, and I do have to wash this out, otherwise that's gonna end in a disaster. I wanted to buy at least one color that's a little bit out of my usually browns and greens that I so often buy. And so I picked out the Pen Cove Muscle, which is a beautiful, and yeah, here's the flap that I accidentally cut off. And this is a wonderful lavender gray. And I did decide to go ahead and get the big one because I have a couple of people that I think would enjoy getting to try this too. Boop. And so let's see here. Wow. Looks darker than I expected in the bottle, but that doesn't necessarily mean anything. Oh yeah, very much lavender. Actually not that grayish. I thought it might be a little bit more dusky, but I think that is definitely like a lavenderish color. So quite cool toned, I would say. And again, flow seems to be wonderful, well lubricated. The wet pen. And then, what did we say? Pen Cove. Oh yeah, it does seem maybe a little bit lighter when you write with it. But still very legible. I would be surprised if that lightened up so much in a pen that you would feel like this is not legible. Okay, do I know how to draw a muscle? I don't think so. So maybe we do just draw lavender, even though this is not lavender. It's just a doodle, right? It doesn't have to be. We can always do grass. And maybe we'll just do a little butterfly. Because why not? Yes, that is a lovely color. Yes, beautiful. I think that's a 3 out of 3, or I can see myself using these a whole lot. Yeah, all right, definitely recommend. I think his name is Matthew. I just now realized I always called him he, but I think his name is Matthew. I hope his name is Matthew. If I'm wrong about that, I'll have it on the screen, but yeah, the Wet Pen All these are handmade in the Pacific Northwest. And I'll have the, like I said, the link to the video below because it's so beautiful how he describes these places and things and how he turned that into his ink inspirations. And yeah, it's just wonderful. Yeah, super fun, super fun. I thought it would be fun to also compare these to some other inks. Sometimes seeing inks next to each other helps to show just the nuances of each ink. So let's start with the giant Pacific Octopus. And also in this larger swatch, I think you can see a little bit better this yellow goldish sheen that is happening. Super beautiful. And I thought it was really interesting to see this ink next to some lighter browns. So I pulled out Endless Molten Bronze and Gerabin Lit d'été. Both of these browns are very yellow-based browns. And although this has a lot of almost maroonish red in it, where here you see these lighter applications, they do share some similarities, I feel like, if you compare this to this and this. Really fascinating, but the writing looks quite different. So I thought that was really cool. And now looking at the Wet Pen Gasworks Park, also here you can see the sheen a lot better, that bronzy color, really cool. And when I ordered this ink, I thought, wow, this is maybe going to be super similar to Sailor Tsukigokuro, and I was highly mistaken. I mean, they do share this metallic sheen. Here you can see Tsukigokuro with the, yeah, I think it's a bit more reddish sheen. Yeah, there you can see the different, this is a lot more golden bronze, where this is a lot more red. But also the base green color is very different between the two. This is a lot more darker grassy green, whereas this is a more ashy, not really a sage green, but closer to a sage green than to an olive green, like this is. In terms of the green tone, it actually could be a cousin for Diamine Salamander, although Salamander, again, is maybe a bit darker, a bit more ashy, but yeah, kind of interesting. And then just for kicks and giggles, here's Sailor Rikyucha, which also has a sort of metallic sheen, but this is a lot warmer than Gasworks Park. Yeah, so there's those greens. And then in terms of the Pen Cove Muscle, I have nothing really like it, not even close, which I haven't really played around with a lot of lavender colored inks just yet, although spoiler alert, I put this in a pen and I'm loving it. So yeah, new color family unlocked. But I thought it might still be interesting, even if these are very not like each other, to go through some of the purple bluish baubles that I have in my collection here in terms of swatches, because it just highlights how unique this color is. It's really, sometimes it looks blue, sometimes it's more lavender, just depending on the context. So obviously this Kobe ink is a lot more saturated, but yeah, really interesting. Then Blue Jay Crown also, although they would look lovely together. And then this is probably the closest that I have, is Diamine Prussian Blue. See that? Especially here where it gets a little bit lighter. Really interesting. Although I would say that in the writing they do look different. But they get closer, and then yeah, we start going further away again, but maybe we can bring this up. Octopus Fluids Gray Meerkat. Yeah, that's probably the closest there, actually. although Gray Meerkat is a lot grayer. Yeah, but that is the Wet Pen inks compared to some others. Definitely unique, for sure, at least from what I've tried out so far. But yeah, very, very happy with these. And I have one more new thing to show you. This pen was kindly sent to me by Benu for the purposes of this review, and it is super cute. Unfortunately, at the time of this recording, it's no longer available, and I feel a little bad about that, and I kind of hummed and hawed about how to approach this because I don't want to get you excited about a pen that you can no longer purchase. However, this is also my first time experiencing the Haute model that they brought out not too long ago. And so I was thinking there's still value in talking about this, even if the specific colorway, the specific resin is no longer available. We can check out this really interesting shape because it's very squared or rectangular with rounded corners. Yeah, really unique. So yeah, I hope you forgive the fact that this specific resin is no longer available. But I think they did something so cool here with the incorporated glitter hearts. That is so precious. And it's fun without being overbearing, to limit it to this little cap section and the grip section really makes this pen, it's still bright pink, but there's a little bit of a, I don't know if you want to call it understated air to it, but yeah, it's just a really fun detail. And I think these hearts, because they are metallic shimmer, they have like a multicolored effect to them. Sometimes they look dark purple, sometimes they look more red, but then also depending on how the light catches them, there's a yellow and a green in there. So really, if you're someone who wants to pair their pens with matching inks, you have actually quite a bit of playroom there. Yeah, here you can see that even better because it's so concentrated in the finial. Like, I bet you can find some really fun contrasting colors to the pink that still kind of match your pen. But yeah, this feels really, really smooth. And then in terms of how that sits on the hand, yeah, that's nice. Yeah, wonderful. Yeah, you wouldn't think that something squared off like that would work as a pen, but it really does. And then, of course, you could post it, I think. Well, you can. I feel like that's not the tightest fit. Oh, well, maybe I didn't push it on hard enough. Yeah, my bad. It does post securely. Yeah, I wasn't forceful enough. But I'm not someone who posts their pens. All right, let's take a look at what ink we could put in here and then test out this beautiful pen. And I did prepare some inks that I thought might be nice, and I kept it somewhat conservative. So here is me waffling on about how you could go with a fun green or anything, but I pulled out some of my purples and pinks. And let's take a look here. We have Birmingham Penco Waterfront Dusk, which is a very dark plum color, but it almost reads as black, really. You could do that if you wanted something highly legible or office notes friendly. Then I also pulled out Tatcha Uma Murasaki, which that ink, sometimes it looks pink, sometimes it looks brown. It's one of those shapeshifter inks. Maybe not really the right tone. Not cool enough in tone, maybe. Then we have Diamond Inkvent from 2024, Lullaby, which that's really cute. cooler. You're leaning more into the purple. The pen is obviously a lot more pink, but I do think those go together. And because we're heading into spring, this might be a fun spring color too. So this really is I think this might be my contender right there. And if we can jump ahead a little bit, this is the Wet Pen Cove Muscle ink that I've already inked in my pilot. I mean, this would have been fun too. I always love a sort of, if you go more into an indigo direction and pair that with pink, I always think that's a fun combination. But since I've already have that inked, I also think these two would look good together. That's sometimes fun when inking up multiple pens, to think about how you can combine inks for headers and then the writing, or in my case, writing and drawing. This is another Diamond Inkblend ink, the Potpourri, or Potpourri, I think. Yeah, that's how you say it. I don't think you say the T out loud there, which, yeah, that would work too. Those pinks in there. It seems like this is a very dry ink though, and I don't know if I want to mess with that right now. I think, truth be told. And then down here we have a little bit more warmer reddish leaning pinks with Sailor Yutsubami and Colorverse Europa. Europa? I'm not sure. But yeah, you pick up more of the reds from the glitter hearts. But that could be fun too, you know. Both very legible. I would think in terms of just the tone overall, the Colorverse ink is a little bit closer to the pen. But yeah. Well, what ink would you put in this pen? I think I'm gonna go with the Lullaby. Yeah. Okay, I'll ink this up and then we can test this out for a bit. All right, making a huge mess here with inking up the pen. I did want to share with you this little tip. Don't panic when you spill ink. You can try and soak it up, or at least some of it. You might have to do multiple passes, but you at least get to save some of the ink, and also makes cleanup a little easier. Just use this as a vacuum cleaner. Yay! All right, let's test this out. Let's find an empty page in my sketchbook. And let's see, maybe we can zoom you in too so you see all the inky goodness. That's what we want. So here we have the Benu. And this is a Haute model. And this is in the Atelier Amour. Hope I'm saying that right. That's a beautiful ink color, isn't it? Wouldn't have expected to like that so much. Truth be told. Okay, Diamine Lullaby. And I was a little concerned that maybe this ink was also dry, so I did add a little bit of Van Ness White Lightning to it to make it flow a little better. So yeah. But this Schmidt medium nib is very smooth. That's really nice. Yeah. That writes just like a dream. Okay, maybe we can do like a little doodle, huh? Let's see. Maybe we do a little kitty cat sleeping, because this is the Lullaby ink. You can use your stationery sometimes as little inspirational prompts, like ink colors, or that would probably also be fun, like doing research based on certain things. pen names or influences like that. Maybe this is it's a little bit of a pattern on the blanket. Yeah, this is a joy. I really like that this color is pastel-y, but it still has some oomph to it, but it's also not garishly vibrant. It's not highlighter purple. You know what I mean? I think that's quite cute. Yeah, all right. Well, this is very joyful. And because I had talked about combining it with the Penco Muscle ink that I have in my pilot currently, maybe I'll bring that out and we can see how that goes together. Yeah, I think that's cute together. What do you think? All of a sudden the Penco Muscle looks very blue, doesn't it? Also very interesting. This is a pilot medium nib. And this is the Schmidt medium nib, although it might also write a little thicker because I have added that white lightning, just a hair of white lightning. But sometimes it increases the flow, but it also then makes certain pens or inks write a little thicker. So that's something to keep in mind. And again, I'm not quite sure if that's what's happening here, but it might. Also, in general, the German nibs run a little thicker than Japanese nibs, so there's that too, of course. So yeah, what do you think? Isn't that a cute combo and very fitting for spring? Yeah, that's gonna be very, very fun to use. I'm curious, do you have any experiences with the Wet Pen inks or with the Benu Haute model? Let me know in the comments. I would love to chat to you about what your thoughts are. I'll keep you posted for sure. I think I am also going to ink up the giant Pacific octopus soon. I'm really curious what that looks like in a pen. And yeah, maybe we need to do a currently inked soon because I feel like I've been slowly shifting from my winter colors to more of a spring lineup. So yeah, maybe that might be fun to do very soon. All right, other than that, thank you so much for sharing this time with me. And until next time, happy journaling.